Are we live again? Okay, yeah, we're live. So it's going to be a part 2 video, I guess. But anyway, the sheriff of San Francisco, with intent, had Herrera delivered to San Francisco so that he could release him the next day. Dropped the 1995, people, is 2017. Drug charges for selling marijuana in San Francisco. So that was the intention of the sanctuary sheriff in San Francisco, its mayor, and the body politic in San Francisco. You know, for 14 years, I've been going to city council meetings and telling the mayors and telling the boards of supervisors that the blood of dead Americans is on their hands. And, you know, this day it's being said, you know, and it should be said because it is the sheriff and it is the mayor and it is the body politic in San Francisco that murdered Kate Steinle. Then you got to, you know, remember, you know, how did this illegal alien get up here? This bothers me too. Actually, this 5-time, 6-time deported illegal alien was in Mexico and he got a phone call from an illegal alien that was working a ranch in Nevada. And in that phone call, he was told that he had a job waiting for him, that the foreman or, you know, the rancher in Nevada had his illegal alien buddy called Herrera in Mexico, with a job. That's how he got here. That's how he came up for the 5th time or whatever. And so that the blood on, you know, Kate Steinle's blood or any American that's murdered is also on the hands of those that beckon Herrera and people like him. The rancher and the illegal alien that was working for that rancher in America. He called Mexico. Do you hear me? How many Americans would like a job? But no, we have illegal aliens calling Mexico and bringing up illegal aliens to work here that commit crimes. Okay, so there's blood there too. And then your government. People, I don't have to tell you about the Obama administration, the Bush administration, and the Bush administration before that, or the Clinton administration. These people are not our friends. These are the men and women in Washington, D.C. that perpetuate the amnesty debate and have so for the last 14 years. They are hell-bent on keeping illegal aliens working for corporate America and even international corporations inside of America. Cheap labor. But, you know, at the expense of who? Well, I, for one, the American worker, I'm a good example of what happens to an American worker when your government doesn't protect you. But look at all the dead Americans across this United States, not just in the last 10 years, 20 years. You know, I had an uncle-in-law, Lyle. He was run over in 1970, killed by an illegal alien that took off to Mexico, right here in Los Angeles. I was going to go visit him at the time. My wife and I, at that time, no more, we're going to visit them that weekend, but we got a phone call in the middle of the week that they ran him over. Nice guy, you know, beautiful person. But so it's just not, you know, the last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. It's been forever, it seems like. But, you know, it's when your government, you know, makes all kinds of excuses for illegal aliens and they try to subvert the laws by legislating subversion in Washington, D.C., in the House, in the Senate. They have blood on their hands, too. What would happen if Schumer's daughter was shot or run over or murdered or raped? Or Paul Ryan's? I think that that's the problem here, people. That those that dictate, you know, to the American people in Washington, D.C., they're protected. They're protected to the hilt. They're never going to say, you know, like Marianne Gonzalez or Agnes Gibney and others, my son was murdered by an illegal alien. Because they're protected. Even when you look at the sexual scandals that are going on here in California and Washington, D.C., they have slush funds with taxpayers' money to pay off the people that they sexually assault. So, you know, they're protected. If an atomic bomb drops, they go into their bunkers and shelters right there in D.C. They're protected. Their children don't live in the trenches where we live. They're not surrounded by illegal aliens when they go to the store or the market. They don't have to put up with the murder and the rape and the assaults that occur in the streets. But they want your vote, and that's our failure, people. We have to vote these people out. But, I want to give you some statistics that I usually don't do because that's not really what I do. But I'm going to give them to you anyways, as far as that I can remember them. In the year 2011 to 2017 in the state of Texas, there was 217,000 illegal aliens that committed crimes and were arrested in the state of Texas. They had a combined 600,000 crimes that they committed. Got that? 217,000 illegal aliens arrested in the state of Texas for a combined 600,000 plus crimes that they committed against the people of Texas, of which 1,200 were homicide. Kind of rings a bell, doesn't it? 70,000 assaults. An assault could be, you could be missing your teeth, your arm, your leg. You could be brain dead. 70,000 burglaries. 6,200 sexual assaults. Can you believe it? 700 weapons charges. And it goes on and on and on. And the point that I'm trying to make here is if in a 6-year period, 217,000 illegal aliens were arrested and put in jail and in prison in the state of Texas. And Texas has what? Well, I know that California has 3 times the amount of illegal aliens that Texas has. So when you look at 250,000 of these illegal aliens being arrested and put into jails in Texas, what about California? What about Arizona? What about in New York? How many crimes could be prevented, people? Also, another statistic from 2005 to 2008, I believe it was, that there was 69,000 homicides, murders committed in America. From 2003 to 2009, if I remember right, there was 115,000 people murdered. And these are FBI statistics. Of the 115,000 people that were murdered, Americans that were murdered, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your friend, 25,000 of those were murdered by illegal aliens. Now, this doesn't count car accidents. This doesn't count an accident such as they're saying, like Kate Steinle. How many crimes are not reported, to the FBI or Homeland Security? They seem to be normal accidents in America, an accident between another American, but they're not. How many crimes went unreported in the state of Texas in that short period of time? 45,000 that they know of. And that's probably crimes committed against illegal aliens by illegal aliens in Texas. But the point of contention, people, it's still crime. It's still homicide. It's still rape. It's still assault. It's still burglary. And it emanates from their illegal alien enclaves, communities, whatever you want to call it, into the streets where you and I live. So when you're looking at the statistics that I just gave you, I'm going to post them too. And you look at Texas with, 250,000 illegal aliens just about being arrested in a 6-year period. Translate that or transpose that into California or whatever. And you will find that law enforcement in California could prevent over 1.5 million crimes that are to be perpetrated against the American people here in the state of California, and they refuse to. The sheriffs in all the counties in from San Bernardino all the way up to Lassens or whatever in the state of California refuse to enforce the law on illegal aliens that are killing, murdering, raping, robbing, and committing mayhem against the American people. They wear the gun, they wear the badge. We have no protection, people. Just like Washington, they have the vested trust that we, the people, and they legislate not to protect you, not to protect me, to protect illegal aliens like Zarate so he can kill more Americans. And what's going to happen to that guy? He's going to get deported. He's going to get that phone call from a ranch in Texas, and he's going to come up under the name of Sanchez. He'll be back, people. Unfortunately, murdered Americans never come back. When we spend Christmas and our Thanksgivings, Marianne Gonzalez and Agnes Givney, they don't look at Christmas and Thanksgiving the way that you and I do. I feel their pain because, and I know what it's like. I lost friends in Vietnam. You never get over it, people. And they were my brothers. But Agnes Givney lost her son. So did Marianne Gonzalez, Laura Wilkerson, Brenda Sparks. Why? Because our government is refusing to protect you and I. And they allow Governor Brown and his sanctuary policies to go forward so that another 250,000 crimes can be committed. Another 2,000 to 3,000 murders can be committed against the American people. Can you imagine, America? 25,000 murders in a 6-year period, and your government wants to legislate an amnesty? 25,000 murdering illegal aliens, murdering Americans, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. And they want to legislate for the good ones, for DACA. So when we look at what's happening in America today, people, I think when the force within the community, law enforcement, is part of the tyranny, that the force within the community which is the fire and the sword of the magistrate, to keep everybody in line, to keep them from robbing, murdering, raping you, is no longer in existence. They look the other way. And the same thing in Washington, D.C. They don't legislate for you. I've been in this battle for 14 years, and I have battled them to save you. Not just me, but, other activists, longtime activists. And I tried to prevent the Agnes Givney, the Laura Wilkerson, the Marianne Gonzalez. I've tried and attempted to do that for 14 years before they were even aware that their sons or daughters were going to be murdered. And now, sadly, they've joined the fight. And they did a interview on Fox News that I'm going to post right after I get done. I want you to listen to what they have to say and think about what I told you. When that gun and that badge is no longer there to protect you and your family, then you have a state of anarchy, and you have Zareta and others killing your family members. When you have a body politic that legislates to subvert the laws that are meant to protect you, you have a state of anarchy. So this is where we're at. We have no protection. And even as I speak to you, Senator Cotton, is up there legislating for amnesty, for DACA. Like DACA students don't murder. Yeah, I bet they don't. And they don't rape, and they don't rob. And then they bring in their parents, and then they'll bring in, the chain migration. So it's got to stop, America. When we, the people, can look at the statistics that I just gave you, and I hope they're pretty much correct, and then we turn the other way and say, hey, next, or, Trump's going to take care of, everything. It's not going to work that way, people. We have to hold them accountable. We have to vote the Schumers and the Paul Ryans out. And how many times and how many years have I said this? But I think that today, after the verdict that was rendered in San Francisco, we can't depend on our government. We can't depend on law enforcement to protect you and I or your family. So I think that, we have to understand that, people are murdered. Americans are murdered by illegal aliens with impunity. They're raped with impunity. They're burglarized with impunity. So why do we have a government? Look at California. Governor Brown, signed into law a bill that works like this. The federal government has deportation orders for anybody that serves 365 days on a misdemeanor. They're automatically deported. Governor Brown and the illegal alien legislators in Sacramento revised that law so that no misdemeanor can be charged or sentenced for over 364 days. One day. That one day, that one law signed by Governor Brown and the illegal alien people, legislators in Sacramento, prevented thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens from being deported out of California that will one day walk up and kill your mom or your father, your wife, your baby. Is that when you'll join the fight? Is that when you'll join Agnes Gibney and Marianne Gonzalez and Laura Wilkerson when you lose yours, your family member? Well, we'll be waiting for you. That's for sure. Because we're not going to surrender this country. But the question now is, what are we going to do with the body politic and the sheriffs that don't want to protect you, don't want to legislate on your behalf? The blood is on their hands. Huntington Beach, you're no different, Chief Handy and the mayor of Huntington Beach. I'm coming to talk to you. Just want you to know. And, but when you project 217,000 illegal aliens that were arrested in the state of Texas in a 6-year period to all the other states, you can see how your government works, how their oath works, how their duty and commitment to the American people in America works. It doesn't. So we're at the crossroads, America. I just want you to think about your Christmas when you're opening up your presents. I want you to look out there. I want you to think about Agnes Gibney, Brenda Sparks, Marianne Gonzalez, even Kate Steinle's parents. They're going to be like, kind of like me. Christmas was never the same after Vietnam. No holiday is. Because on those days, I spend it mostly alone in thought of what could have been had my friends not been killed in Vietnam. It's a hard way to go, people. I could never imagine losing a son or a daughter or a cousin or an aunt. Well, I already have, but I just can't imagine losing more. And I can't imagine the American people letting it happen. It's up to you and I. We have to stop this. It's no more voting for that congressman that's been there for 20 years, 10 years, or because you like the way he looks. It's about protecting yourself, protecting me. With that said, people, think about those numbers that I told you. And this is what It's waiting for you. So it's waiting for you, America. Someday somebody's going to knock on your door and tell you that your daughter was raped, your son was murdered, or that you come home and you have nothing left because it was burglarized, or that your sons and daughters and your wives were beat up in the streets by illegal aliens and they're going to go before a jury of their peers, that of liberals and illegal aliens that are going to not convict them like they did OJ. So the OJ trial, he walked because people of color were on that jury box, in that jury box. Serrete walked because there was liberals and illegal aliens. So our whole system is skewed. Remember what George Washington and Jefferson and Madison always believed, that this republic can only stand if we are moral. We have to be honest people. We have to see things for what they are. We have to obey the laws, and we have to punish the body politic when they make laws that don't protect us. Thank you, and God bless.